evidently he didn't get the memo. But I met with the Native American Economic Development folks, and we talked about that in depth. And one thing that they have to have is actually have someone that's interested in representing them and showing up for the forums. So that's what we did. We showed up that day, we talked with them, engaged with them, and let them know that historically on our reservations they vote Democrat. The Democrats promise them a lot of things, and they don't often follow through on that. But the one thing that they have to have is an actual representative, a U.S. Senator, that will meet with them and hear their concerns and try and assist them with our federal government, with the programs that are out there. Thank you, sir.
Ned, 1 minute if you'd like to respond.
That forum was helpful, and the message that I learned from that forum was listen to the mothers. If you want to revolutionize a community, start with the people that aren't going to run away, and those are the mothers. As I take care of patients from Pine Ridge and across the state, they are struggling. But those who have the commitment to stick around and pour into the communities are the mothers in that area. There are 2 ideas that I've seen in the last 6 months that I think are healthy for the Native American reservations. One of them is mission work that is based on healthcare delivery. And what that does is remove the mission-based delivery that is there now, which is filled with bureaucracy. Let me just summarize that quickly. It is easier for me to go serve those in a third world country than it is to go serve on the reservation right now because of the bureaucracy.
Time. Jason, you have a minute if you'd like.
Thank you. I believe I'm the only candidate that has actually gone to the reservations. I went to Pine Ridge and I sat down and talked to President Brewer and I said, how can we help you? What are your issues? Please inform me. He was very gracious and receptive. He thought it was refreshing that a Republican would be willing to come to his territory. Well, because we haven't been doing it enough. He then invited me to speak before the Greater Tribal Chairmen's Association, and I got to speak before all the tribal chairmen in Sioux Falls, and I made a pledge I would go speak at every reservation. They're the fastest growing demographic in the state. They are still South Dakotans as well. We need to listen and see if we can help them with their issues as we move forward. And I believe there are also many veterans that are involved. For example, in Hot Springs, which is right close to Pine Ridge, they're trying to close the Veterans Hospital there. The veterans of Pine Ridge use that facility tremendously. We need to SaveTheVA.com. Go check that out to help save the hospital in Hot Springs and help our veterans and our Indian community.
Larry, you have 1 minute.
Boy, I wish I had 10 minutes to talk about this. It was 2 days ago, David Baldeagle stopped by our house with his daughter. David Baldeagle turned 95 the day after he was at my place. We have spent literally hours and hours at my kitchen table with him telling me stories about his days in the 82nd Airborne and his days prior to World War II in the Mounted Cavalry. And he has a clear vision on what it would take to save the Indian people. He's raised 24 children, 12 of them his own. These kids have a great work ethic. They're alcohol free, and he knows the solution to the problems that face the reservation. Ladies and gentlemen, the reservation, I've said this, and it'll probably get me in trouble, but if you want to see the culmination of entitlement in America, look at Pine Ridge. That's the problem. Government's not the solution, it's the problem, and entitlement. That we need to somehow allow the David Baldeagles, the few that are left, to learn from their advice.
Time. Mike Lowndes, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. Dr. Bosworth hit it on the head. If you want to learn what's going on the reservations, talk to the grandmothers. They care. They're living it. They're living in poverty. They see their grandchildren challenged with schools that in many cases don't work very well. They see poverty. They see folks that have diabetes that's uncontrolled. They find an Indian health service that literally Obamacare could almost be patterned after. It's wrong. We have to, number one, allow for folks to actually have businesses on the reservation. Government can't control everything on the reservation and expect success. We have to open it up for enterprise. That means young men and women have to be able to have a job that's there. Get them to the point where they can actually have a job on their own. They don't want to be on welfare. They simply don't have another choice. I met with the different tribal leaders. I invited them to my home when I was governor for dinner. And what I found were people that truly cared about their people, but they struggle because they have a federal government that literally controls their lives. Folks, if you want to see what what Obamacare and steroids is,
Time.
look at the reservations.
Our next question, Katie Sir will ask.